Hi all, welcome to my channel CyberSec Prep. Today we are going to discuss 10 questions from the CISSP domain 2 asset security. Uh, so let's start with the questions. Alright, question number 1. Angela is an information security architect at a bank and has been assigned to ensure that transactions are secure as they traverse the network. She recommends that all transactions use TLS. What threat is she most likely attempting to stop, and what method is she most likely using to protect against it? Options on your screen: man in the middle, packet injection, sniffing, and again sniffing with tempest. So there are two things we need to identify as the correct answer. One is the threat, other thing is the method that will be used to protect against the threat. So we have to choose the best option out of these four. So basically, as we all know, encryption is often used to protect traffic like bank transactions from sniffing, right? Sniffing is a kind of a threat. So at this point, to me, the most appropriate response is C out of these four, but let's see what other options are. So while packet injection attack and man in the middle attacks are possible, but they are far less likely to occur. And if a VPN were used, it would be used to provide the encryption, right? So option number A and option number B are not the best answers so far, right? So let's move on to the option number D now to see whether that is also equally true or not. Now, sniffing is fine. That's a kind of a threat, right, to any network. But the method Tempest is not correct because Tempest is a technique which is used to prevent spying, and it uses electromagnetic emissions for as a technique, and it would not be used to stop attacks at any normal bank. So that's hence the correct option is C, sniffing, comma encryption. We'll move on to the next question now. Okay, question number 2. On control objective for information and related technology, COVID is a framework for information technology management and governance. Which data management role is likely to select and apply to COVID to balance the need for security controls against business requirements? We have four options: business owners, data processors, data owners, and data stewards. See, business owners are those who have to balance the need to provide value with regulatory, security, and other requirements. This makes the adoption of a common framework like COBIT attractive. So, business owners, option A is looking like a good answer to this question. But let's see what other options are. Data processors. Data processors are the ones basically which are required to perform specific actions under regulations like EU GDPR. So this option is not looking relevant as of now, right? Let's move on to the next one: data owners. Data owners are the ones who are more likely to ask that those responsible for control selection identify a standard to use. So again, data owners is again not relevant for this question. Next, we are moving to the next option, which is data stewards. Now, data stewards uh, are people who are internal roles that oversee how data is used, right? So they are not responsible for what security controls needs to be selected and how to balance the security. So the correct option for this question is A, business owners. We'll move on to the next one. Question number 3. Jack's company is operating a hybrid cloud environment with some on-site systems and some cloud-based systems. Hybrid and cloud-based system. These are the key terms. She has satisfactory monitoring on site but needs to apply security policies to both activities her users engage in and to report on exceptions with her growing number of cloud services. So, what type of tool is best suited to this purpose? Option A, next generation firewall. Option B, cloud access security broker. option C, intrusion detection system, or option D, security operation and response tool, which is called SOAR. Now we have to choose the best option among these four provided options. So the best option as per the question, because the question states totally that the environment is hybrid, so they are using on-site and cloud-based system. So for this, the best option among the given options should be CASB. Why? Because CASB is designed to sit between a cloud environment and the users who use it, and it also provides monitoring and policy enforcement capabilities. So that's why so far option B is the best answer. But let's see what other options are. So let's talk about the next generation firewall, right? Or for that matter, intrusion detection system or a SOAR tool. Now each of these tools could each provide some insight into what is going on, but they are not purpose built and designed for this like the CASB is. The next generation firewall and IDS are most likely to provide you the insights into traffic patterns and behaviors, while SOAR tool is primarily intended to monitor other systems and centralize data for the response, making it potentially the least useful in this specific scenario. So the best option and the correct one is option number B. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 4. When media is labeled based on the classification of the data it contains, what rule is typically applied regarding labels? So please read out all the options and then choose the right option. I hope for now you have paused the video and selected the right option. So the right option for this question would be option number B, which is the media is labeled based on the highest classification level of the data it contains. Why? Because see, media is typically labeled with the highest classification. That's absolutely true. This prevents the data from being handled or accessed at a lower classification level, right? The other options like integrity requirements may be part of the classification process, but they don't independently drive labeling in a classification scheme. So that's why the option number B is the correct one. Now let's move on to the next question. Question number 5. Which one of the following administrative processes assist organizations in assigning appropriate levels of security control to sensitive information? Again, this is very easy. I hope you all have selected option number A, data classification. Reason being, the need to protect sensitive data drives data classification. Classifying data allows organizations to focus on data that needs to be protected rather than spending effort on less important data. The other options like remanence. Remanence describes data left on media after an attempt is made to remove the data. So it is not a correct option or the answer for this question. Transmitting data. Transmitting data is again not correct because it is not a driver for an administrative process to protect sensitive data. The last option, clearing, is also wrong because clearing is a technical process for removing data from media, right? So let's move on to the next question. Question number 6. How can a data retention policy help to reduce liabilities? So I hope you have paused the video and selected the correct option as per your understanding. So as per the question, how can a data retention policy help to reduce liability? The correct response is A. Why? Because it ensures that we are not retaining any data which is not needed for our business purpose, right? A data retention policy can help to ensure that outdated data is purged, removed potential additional cost for the discovery. Many organizations have aggressive retention policies to both reduce the cost of storage and limit the amount of data that is kept on hand and discoverable. Data retention policies are not designed to destroy incrementing data, and legal requirements for data retention must still be met. So, considering all these points, option number A is the best and correct response to question number 6. Let's now move to question number 7. Staff in an IT department who are delegated responsibility for day-to-day tasks hold what data role? So we have business owners, we have users, data processor, and custodian as the given options. We have to choose the correct one and the best one. So the correct response for this question is custodian. Why? Because custodians are the ones who are delegated the role of handling day-to-day tasks by managing and overseeing how data is handled, how the data is stored and protected. Data processor is wrong because see, data processors are the systems used to process the data, right? Business owners are typically the project or system owners who are tasked with making sure that the systems provide value to their users or customers. So it is also not right for this question. Users are simply the users who want to use the services, right? So again, the best option is option number D, custodian to this question. Move on to the next one. Question number 8. Helen's company uses a simple data life cycle as shown below. What stage should come first in the data life cycle? So what is this stage that we have to identify from the given options? I think it's pretty easy. It's option number C, data collection. In a typical data life cycle, collection is the first stage, we all know. Once the data is collected, data can be analyzed, it can be used, stored, and then disposed at the end of its useful life. Right, so data collection is the correct and best response. Now let's move on to the next question. Ben has been tasked with identifying security controls for systems covered by his organization's information classification system. Why might Ben choose to use a security baseline? Now, what is security baseline? See, security baselines provide you the starting point to scope and tailor security controls as per your organization needs. Right? They are not always appropriate to specific organization needs. They cannot ensure that systems are always in secure state and they do not prevent liability. So, considering all these points, the best option and correct response to this question is C. They provide a good starting point that can be tailored to organization needs. We'll move on to the last question, question number 10 now. Bob wants to prepare media to allow for its reuse in an environment operating at the same sensitivity level. Which of the following is the best option to meet his needs? Option A, clearing. Option B, erasing. Option C, purging. Option D, sanitization. So let's talk about all these options. So clearing, what is clearing? Clearing means preparing media for the reuse, right? When media is cleared, unclassified data is written all over the addressable locations of the media. Once that is done, the media can then be reused, right? So this is the purpose of clearing. Now I'm parking this question as a correct one, but let's see other options, right? Erasing. What is erasing? Erasing is a process of deletion of files or the media and may not include all of the data on the device or media, making it the worst choice here, right? So it is not a correct option. Purging is more intensive form of clearing for reuse in a lower security areas, so it is also not the relevant and best option. Now we are left with sanitization. Now what is sanitization? Sanitization is a series of processes that removes data from a system or media while ensuring that the data is unrecoverable by any means. Okay, but here the question is that we have to reuse the media, so this becomes non-relevant. Now the correct response is option number A, clearing. With this video is over. Hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.